morning, Asia.
We are coming at you live from the southeast. Now taking a closer look at Indonesia.
Here with us today we have Charity Tillman, a historian who will tell us about the country.
Thanks, Isabella. Now, I'm going to be talking to you about the history of Indonesia. In 2500 BCE, the people in Indonesia learned to farm, and this was obviously a great innovation because it allowed them to have a surplus of food and specialize in labor. And as we move on, in 400 BCE, there's archaeological evidence that Indonesians traded with China and India. And now, in the 1292, the Majapahit Empire was founded, and it was the last major Hindu empires, and it was one of the greatest, earliest empires in this region. And in 8th century CE, the kingdom of Swearjahe was founded, and it composed of city-states, and it was the center for expansion of Buddhism. And also in this time, there was a empire or kingdom called Sailandra, which contains the Buddhist temple Borobudur. And yes, that is the great history of Indonesia.
Thanks, Charity.
Next, we will be sending one of our very own to interview with Ayutthaya's greatest king.
History before Naresuan's rule was from the 10th through the 14th century. Southern Thailand was ruled by the Mon Labo kingdom with growing influence from the Khmer neighboring empire. The Thai people start to move southwards into the area. From 1238 to 1448, Thai-speaking Suhuta Kingdom expands its rule further south, coming to dominate much of modern-day Thailand before being eclipsed by a rival Thai kingdom in the south, Ayutthaya. From 1350 to 1767, Ayutthaya Kingdom gradually brings Thailand under its control and becomes a major power in Southeast Asia. Its greatest extent was around 1600, and it ruled parts of modern-day Cambodia, Laos, and Burma. In 1448, King Wormastone joins Ayutthaya and Sakahi in personal union. From 1590 to 1605, seen as Ayutthaya's greatest king, was the reign of Naresuan.
Friends, today I'm here with the great Ayutthaya Emperor Naresuan. Say hello to the people, Naresuan.
Ashataho.
So Naresuan, what exactly gains you the title of greatest emperor of a specific empire? Tell us more about your empire, Naresuan.
Ashashali ka fusha la shiswa ha ha hi ho shwa shwa shi shu shwa shui shwa shi ka si j'avoue je crois faire ha c'est quoi quand j'y sois en soir quand j'y je ouah soir alors oui soir je quand et quand soir comment c'est soir 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 quoi soir quoi Next, we are headed to Vietnam for our historian Sierra Walsh.
Good morning, Vietnam! I'm Sierra Walsh, here to give you a brief history on this great nation. The true modern history of Vietnam didn't start until around 2000 to 1000 BCE, with a strong divide between the north and the south portions, with Chinese influence in the north and Indian influence in the south. In about 40 CE, when the Trung sisters led a rebellion in North Vietnam against the Chinese government. 3 short years later, the Chinese government took back over, and it stayed that way until about the 10th century, when power was won back by Vietnamese rebels. In the 13th century, the Mongols tried to invade Vietnam 3 times, and all times they were defeated by the Vietnamese government. In around the 16th century CE, the Lý dynasty began to decline, and North and South Vietnam were ruled by rival families for the next 200 to 300 years. In the 1770s, a rebellion began in the small city of Tay Son, and power was being taken from both the Tran family in the north and the Wen family in the south. Finally, in 1802, power was taken by Wen An, who later changed his name to Emperor Zhilong, and the country was finally unified into one. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sierra, for that great story on Vietnam.
Did I ever tell you about the time I visited Cambodia?
You did not.
Well, I went to the Angkor Temple and it was so cool. I have this video of my trip. If you would like me to show you, I have a bunch of information about the history.
Let's see it.
Hey guys, it's Sunny and 75 at the Angkor Temple, Wat. Look how beautiful this religious monument is. Angkor Wat is located in Siem Reap, Cambodia. It is the largest religious monument in the world. It literally is translated to the city temple. Angkor Wat was not the original name given to the temple when it was built in the 12th century. We have little knowledge about how this temple was referred to during the time of its use, as there are no extant texts or inscripts that mention the temple by name. This is quite incredible if we consider the fact that Angkor Wat is the greatest religious construction project in Southeast Asia. A possible reason why the temple's original name may have never been documented is that it was such an important and famous monument that there was no need to refer to it by its name. We have several references to the king who built the temple, King Surveyman II, and events that took place at the temple, but no mention of its name. Angkor Wat is dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, who is one of the three principal gods in the Hindu pantheon. Among them, he is known as the Protector. The major patron of Angkor Wat was the King Surveyman II, whose name translates to the Protector of the Sun. Many scholars believe that Angkor Wat was not only a temple dedicated to the Vishnu, but that it was also intended to serve as the king's mausoleum in death. The construction of Angkor Wat likely began in the year 1116 CE. Temples are not a place for religious congregation. Instead, they are homes of the god. In order for a king to lay claim to his political office, he had to prove that the gods did not support his crusaders or his enemies. To this end, the king had to build the greatest temple for the gods, one that proved to be more lavish than any previous temples. In doing so, the king could make visible his ability to harness the energy and resources to construct the temple, and assert that his temple was the only place that a god would consider residing on earth. The building of Angkor Wat is likely to have necessitated some 300,000 workers, which included architects, construction workers, mansion sculptors, and the servants to feed those workers. Construction of the site took over 30 years and was never completely finished. This site is built almost entirely out of stone, which is incredible as close examination of the temple demonstrates that almost every surface is treated and carved with narrative or decorative details, carved bas reliefs of Hindu narratives. There are 1,200 square miles of carved bas reliefs at Angkor Wat, representing 8 different Hindu stones. Perhaps the most important narrative represented at Angkor Wat is the churning of the ocean milk, which depicts a story about the beginning of time and the creation of the universe. This is a closer look of the relief carving titled Churning of the Ocean Milk. It's beautiful. Look at the relief carvings. It's so beautiful. This is such a beautiful place and famous architecture structure of
Cambodia. Thanks for tuning in to C News. While we went over all the important history in Southeast Asia.
Tune in next week for Europe.